You think that if for instance, all African countries were allowed to default on debt, that they'd become burgeoning, flourishing societies? You think that the problem across, for instance, sub-Saharan Africa isn't just unbelievable greed and theft by politician after politician? You think that if you just wrote off the debt, that would stop being an issue and everyone would become transparent and clean in their dealings with money? I mean, the problems are much deeper than this. They're much deeper than just...
Hello everyone, how you all doing? Welcome back again to another interesting video. Guys, I'm going to be reacting to this video titled Douglas Murray takes on Muslim activists and leaves them speechless. I'm so sure you're going to love and enjoy every bit of this. So no further talking, let's dive into it and check it out.
You seem to almost suggest that they come to your countries with a lesser breed of values.
No, I don't think I said that at any point, and that's another time you've tried to put something in my mouth. I said, and before we got all confrontational, which you did from the get-go, I said what the problem is here is that these things are all rubbing against each other.
Douglas Murray is at it again. This time, he takes on a host of Muslim activists in Qatar over immigration and the compatibility of Islam with Western culture. Douglas Murray did not hold back.
Please.
Hi, I'm Hamad Bahawash. I'm a senior at Georgetown University. And my question is to Mr. Douglas Murray. And before I ask my question, I just want to say, you said no sound bites, but then you said the developing world cannot move to the developed world. I don't know what that's about.
I said it before.
My question is, since you brought up migration from the developing world, I'd like to ask you this. Every year, the developed world sends about $300 billion of aid to the developing world, but the developing world sends back trillions in debt repayments to the developed world. Now, don't you think that this is the main reason why migrants are moving to Europe? Because money is moving out of the developing world. Wealth is leaving the developing world and moving to the developed world, to build on what Lamont Hill said. Don't you think this is why people are moving to the Western world, to the developed world?
Well, no, I don't. Again, I repeat the fact there are no simple answers. And if it was simply the fact that you could, I don't know, do a debt default or something and solve the whole migration issue, then that would be great. But it just isn't the case. You think that if for instance, all African countries were allowed to default on debt, that they'd become burgeoning, flourishing societies? You think that the problem across, for instance, sub-Saharan Africa isn't just unbelievable greed and theft by politician after politician? You think that if you just wrote off the debt, that would stop being an issue and everyone would become transparent and clean in their dealings with money? I mean, the problems are much deeper than this. They're much deeper than just a simple solution like that. As, if I may just add quickly to the previous two comments, the late, very distinguished American diplomat Daniel Patrick Moynihan had a wonderful rule he came up with, known as Moynihan's Law, where he said that human rights, claims of human rights violations often happen in exactly inverse proportion to human rights violations. That is, you hear about them in the countries that are most free. And before long, you can end up with the presumption that the most free countries are the ones who are most abusive of human rights. And this happens with the case when we talk about our leaders and the ones... It's all very well. We can talk about the Trump administration. We can talk about the democracies and so on for all we like. We can all make criticisms, and we all should. But, okay, briefly, Mr. Putin, what are you going to do about him? What are you going to do about the mullahs in Iran? What are you going to do about the House of Saud in Saudi Arabia? You see, what we end up with is this situation. We go, oh, Mr. Trump, Mr. Trump. We can all do that. Believe me, I can riff on Trump
again, you're being quite selective, aren't you?
What are you going to do about the people you can't do anything about? Are you going to ignore them? Are you going to give them a pass? Or are you just going to enjoy beating up on the democracy?
I hate to have to interrupt you. There's something called democracy, though, isn't there? Elections.
Notice how the woman leading the panel thinks that she has just debunked all of what Douglas Murray has just said by simply referring to democracy. The very crux of Douglas Murray's argument is that most often developing countries tend to have less functional economic and democratic structures internally, such that just getting rid of the debt by itself would not entirely solve the migration crisis. Political instability and conflict within countries can further destabilize economies and endanger lives, pushing individuals to seek safety and stability abroad. The World Bank's reports indicate that political instability and violence significantly impact economic performance, reducing investments and hindering economic growth. This, in turn, exacerbates unemployment and poverty, pushing more people towards migration as a means of escaping untenable situations. This debate is about to get even more heated.
Another question, please.
So I'm going to talk briefly about, my mother's experience as an immigrant, and I want to touch on something that Mark Moynihan said, this power of education and telling people how refugees fit into the wider context of economic development. Here's why I'm very skeptical about that. Because when my mother arrived in the UK and her parents arrived in the UK, people still called them dirty packies. When she had graduated from Oxford University, she was still a brown person who was not seen as a citizen, right? So to what extent can we really sell this idea that being educated or fitting X, Y, and Z criteria is what you need to do as a refugee for people to humanize you? The inherent problem with these people is that they don't humanize you. You can't fulfill your oppressor's criteria so that they see you as human. So how do you humanize people?
Dehumanizing refugees, thank you very much. And with this, let me go to you, Douglas Murray. Because much of your argument, Douglas, seems to be about the us versus them, the fact that, we have our own values, our own Britishness, our own virtues, and they will come to our shores with their values, their tradition. They come to your countries with a lesser breed of values.
No, I don't think I said that at any point, and that's another time you've tried to put something in my mouth.
So when you talk about the difference in values, what do you suggest?
Look, first of all, I didn't say that. I said that there are challenges because we do know that there are challenges, and let's just be frank about this. I mean, for instance, I've been in the Gulf for the last week or so. I see more burqas in my home city of London than I have seen in the Gulf in recent days, certainly here in Doha. Now, I can't say I'm delighted by the sight of more and more burqas in London. Do I feel any hatred of the people who wear them? Of course not. Of course not. But I can't say I'm elated by it. And definitely there are times I think, what percentage of burqas in this area becomes like not that pleasant for everyone else.
But again, is it all down to burqas? Because again, you're not asking people with other traditions whether they care about the sight of people drinking alcohol or showing up in bikinis. Again, it's a very
we could in Britain.
Western-centric viewpoint.
I'm not. I have to say, you're going to bark up the wrong tree if you think you're going to persuade a Brit that we should stop drinking alcohol because of people arriving in our country. I mean, that's not going to happen. These things are all a bit of give and take.
But you bring your own traditions that don't quite fit with theirs.
Well,
they don't.
Yeah, there are, as I said, and before we got all confrontational, which you did from the get-go, I said what the problem is here is that these things are all rubbing against each other. And in that situation, you have to work out what things you're willing to give up, which things you're willing to compromise on, and which ones you're not. You're not going to persuade the Brits to massively change their culture, but let me just make the point. Every single society has certain aspects of it doesn't want to give up. This one will. In Qatar, this one will. Everyone does. So please don't try to make this a kind of bigoted European thing. That would be a very dishonest way to. That would be a very dishonest way to represent it.
One of the critical insights to consider in this debate is the difference in foundational values between traditionally liberal Western societies and those governed by strict interpretations of Islamic law. Western democracies have evolved to place a high value on individual rights, including the freedom of expression and the separation of church and state. This liberal tradition encourages a marketplace of ideas where beliefs and opinions, including those on religion, are subject to scrutiny, debate, and even satire. Murray's concern is that the acceptance or imposition of laws and norms that restrict these freedoms in favor of protecting religious sentiments could lead to a chilling effect on speech and thought. It's a scenario where the fear of offending can stifle creativity, intellectual debate, and the critical questioning of religious and societal norms. This debate is not theoretical, but has manifested in various incidents that have sparked international controversy. By understanding the complex pathways to radicalization, societies can develop more effective strategies to counter extremist narratives and foster an environment where diversity and dialogue thrive over division and discord.
Wow, guys, this was another interesting debate. Yes, it was another interesting one. Douglas Murray is always on point. This man has been talking for so many years and he never changed. Yes, whenever he makes any speech, they are always very, very vital. Guys, I mean, the other guy, he said that, don't they think that why most people are moving from the undeveloped country to the developed country is because money is moving out from the undeveloped country to the developed country, that is the more reason why people are moving. Guys, there's this particular video that I posted earlier where a lady asked a question. He said that that the Britain, that they are giving loan to the Africans, which is the non-developed country, for their own selfish reason. Guys, just like what Douglas Murray said, he said that this has to do with the politics. It has to do with the politics because the politician, the government, most of the money that they have been taking from this developed country, so they don't want to use this money to invest. So I think the problem that most of these undeveloped countries are facing, I think the Britain, I think they are not to be blamed. They are not to be blamed because the government of this undeveloped country, they should be blamed for that, and they should be held responsible for that. Okay, like just like what Douglas Murray said, he said that he's never in any way hate the Muslim. He said he doesn't hate them, he doesn't dislike them. So what he actually mean is that he loved them. But what he's saying is that, you know, if they should think that, okay, that they want to migrate to the Britain to start living their life, he is saying that, okay, that they should adopt to their cultures. They should accept their cultures. They should accept their values. They should accept their traditions, okay? Because it's not proper when a Muslim left his religious country to another different religious country entirely, and all of a sudden you are not trying to impose your own religious country. You are not trying to impose your own culture, your own value over there. Like, I don't really think that is possible at all. I think you as the immigrant, you are the one who is supposed to adapt to their cultures and to their traditions, okay? Not them adapting to yours, because remember that you were the one that left your religious country to this country. You are the one that say, okay, I love this country, I want to be part of this country, I want to work in this country, I want to marry, I want to have my kids, I want to school. And they give you the chance, they give you the opportunity to achieve all your desires, dream. And all of a sudden, you start creating nuisance, you start making problems, making troubles. I mean, no one would ever accept that. No one would ever allow that to happen in their country, okay? Like, I mean, let me say something that you've been laboring for years, or you have been building a peaceful country, and your country is known for Christianity, for Christian country. All of a sudden, another strange man entirely from another place just come and he's trying to impose their own culture. I mean, guys, is that really possible? There is this particular video that I also posted earlier, where one of the Muslim man was trying to say, okay, that in Muslim Sharia law, that when a woman commits an adultery, that the woman will be stoned, and when a young lady commits fornication, that the young lady will be flogged. And according to them, that they are not trying to impose this Sharia law in Britain. Guys, I mean, like, who does that? Is that really possible? How can you even think of imposing your own culture, your own traditions into another man's land, into another man's country? So this is where all the problems are coming from, okay? So I think Douglas Murray, just like what he said, he is never in any way hate the Muslims or dislike. Yes, he loved them a lot, but what he's after is peace. He is talking about peace, unity. harmony. He is talking about when you come to our land, you have to accept our cultures. When you come to our land, you have to abide to our rules and our regulations. When you come to our land, you have to accept our traditions. When you come to our land, you have to accept our values. Guys, I mean, like, is that too much to ask? That is not too much to ask at all, because that should be a reality. It should be the fact. Okay, because any immigrant that have the mind that say, okay, I want to migrate, I want to go to so country to live my life, you should also have that mind in you that, okay, that when you go to that land, that you must try in every miss, at every possibility to abide to their laws, to abide to their principles, to accept their values, their cultures, their way of life, their traditions. That should be the first priority. That should be the first thing that should come to your mind. Okay, you can't just wake up one morning and you just say, okay, I want to go to Britain, I want to go to America to start living my life. But within you haven't even accepted that, okay, that this country you are going is a different religious country. And you have never even thought of, okay, that when I get there, things will not be like it is in your own religious country, because they are quite different. The way America live their life is quite different from the way this Muslim country live their life. Is quite different. There is a big difference. So once you have that mind, that intent, that, okay, that you want to migrate for a better green passion, I think you should also have that in mind, that, okay, when I go there, I need to accept the values, the traditions, the custom of these people, the custom of the land, so that there will be peace, so that you will not have any problem with them. That should be the first thing that should come to your mind. Okay, so guys, I'm really so excited sharing this video with you, and I'm so excited. Each time I've been watching Douglas Murray, guys, like, I've really learned a lot. Seriously, Douglas Murray I call him the international treasure. This man is so talented. His words are so vital. So guys, I hope you're enjoying watching this video. You guys know that your comment will always be appreciated and always be welcome under the comment section. So you let me know what you think about this video, and I'll be right there waiting for you. So guys, you stay tuned. I'll see you all in my next one. Bye.